Today we're in Margaret River, Western Australia at Passel Estate, where the story isn't just about what's in the glass, but what surrounds it. Here, wine is made in step with nature, not against it. So come with me through the vineyards as we discover how wine and nature come together. I'm Madeline Culp, and this is the Cellar Australia. Nestled in the southern corner of Western Australia, Margaret River is famous for its turquoise beaches, towering karri forests, and, most importantly, boutique wineries. Surrounded by the Indian and Southern Ocean, and stretching over 100 kilometres, Margaret River's Mediterranean climate makes it one of the world's most unique wine regions. Today, we're in the heart of the Margaret River wine region at Passel Estate, where Barry and Wendy are celebrating the winery's 10-year anniversary. On this picturesque property, they emphasise a sustainable approach to wine, specialising in single vineyard focus and helping to conserve the native wildlife and bushland corridor that surrounds them. Today, I'll be talking to viticulturalist Tim Quinlan and winemaker Bruce Jukes, who work closely together to craft a gentle winemaking approach, aiming to capture both the natural strengths of the fruit and the ancient soils of the region. But first, I'm meeting Barry to hear all about what drew them to this region all those years ago.
Many years ago, we were travelling down to Perth for the very first time to visit a very old friend of mine who I grew up with in Cape Town. He said that there's this place down in the southwest that you have to come visit. It's amazing, and it's reminded him so much of where we grew up. So we came to visit and then immediately fell in love with it. And that was over 20 years ago. And we just came across this incredible piece of land. And that was the start of Passel Estate.
And how did you find that adventure? Or was it a big learning curve?
Huge, huge.
Can imagine.
You think you know something about a subject until you actually have to do it. We both enrolled in this online course at UC Davis in California to learn more about winemaking and about the industry, but a little knowledge is a very dangerous thing.
And I feel that you're so nestled in the natural environment here. You've got these gorgeous little forests around. Can you tell me a little bit about your ethos towards that conservation aspect?
Yeah, so one of the things that attracted us to the property was that, yes, it had vines and the potential to plant more, which we've done, but about a third of it was ancient bushland that had been there, part of the original Lure Natural East National Park. And one of the things that's always been very important to both of us has been conservation. And it was an opportunity. About a third of the property was native bush. It was an opportunity to invest in that and do some conservation work. This area is home to many endangered species, but the poster child of all of those is the western ringtail possum, which is critically endangered. There's only a few thousand left now, and you only find it in the southwest of Australia. We started off, we were approached by a local conservation group after the bushfires in 2011 to rehome a few of these that had been displaced and had lost their habitat. And this area over here, that basically became the first of our sanctuaries for western ringtail. And that's where the name came from. So the collective noun for possums is a passel, so a passel of possum.
Beautiful.
And that's Passel Estate.
And you've been here for a little while now, 10 years.
10 years anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've owned the property for a little longer than that, but yes, 10 years of Passel Estate. I can't believe where the time's gone. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
Yeah.
And so much has happened in that time. The vines that you see here were planted in that period. So we've got some new vines that have just gone in this year. So an exciting new chapter looking ahead. So those are our Chenin Blanc, and we will use that for a still table wine as well. And that comes back to where I grew up in Cape Town, which Chenin Blanc is the dominant white in that part of the world, even though it's originally from the Loire Valley in France.
So how is this vintage shaping up?
Just looking spectacular. We should go and introduce you to Tim, our viticulturalist. He'd be able to get into more detail about the vines and the fruit and how they're actually doing.
I'd love to. Let's go.
We had a very cold winter, and these are like cherry trees. The colder the winter, the more it initiates fruitfulness.
And how do you know when the ideal time to harvest is?
I work closely with the winemaker, and when it gets about 80% there in terms of sugar and acidity, he'll start a tracking of it in the lab. And when the acid and sugar and flavour is in balance, he'll tell me to pick.
And that care at this level, how do you think that translates into the bottle, into your glass, when you have that first or second or fifth sip?
Yeah, it translates in terms of a perfect balance between the acid, sugar and flavour. And hence why Bruce has asked me to remove some leaves. So you can see we've leaf plucked the morning sun side to solarise the grapes. That ripens them in a timely fashion and also prevents disease if you have moisture lying in there on a humid day. And we do this side only. If I did this side, the setting sun, which is the most intense, would burn the grapes. So you're looking the east-facing side.
Wow. A lot of thought gone into it. And can I do a little bit of
absolutely.
leaf? Can you teach me? I don't want
Yeah, so just pluck 2 or 3 leaves off until you can see the bunch of fruit, and then you're pretty much done.
Right.
Yeah.
So could start here?
Absolutely.
Wow. And then how many leaves on average are you doing per vine?
Well, there's not blanket specifications in most vineyards. However, Bruce has them that I've been working with for 20 years. So he emailed Barry, Wendy and I to say he wanted 10 leaves removed per metre of trellis.
Okay.
So that was the brief for my team.
And why would he want exactly 10 leaves?
So there's a balance between airflow through the canopy, sunlight getting in there, and reducing the possibility of disease if we get the conditions that are sort of, prevalent in the district for getting mould. Yeah.
So if you're not plucking enough, you're going to get that disease or increase that risk. If you're plucking too much, you're going to burn everything.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's a balance, which is Bruce's 10 leaves per metre. It's safe.
His golden number.
Yeah.
So what makes growing here in the Margaret River so special and distinctive?
It's the beautiful Mediterranean climate. Hot, dry summers to ripen the grapes with minimal disease pressure. The ocean influence, cooling the fruit down at night so the gentle flavours and aromas aren't essentially baked out of the grapes. And the fact that, unlike some places in the world, everything we grow here, which is exposed to the beautiful Mediterranean climate, ripens to a level that we get what we want, especially Cabernet. If it's grown in a cool climate, in a cool autumn, the flavours are green and unappealing to the wine drinker. So in this district, you get beautifully ripe Cabernet, as well as the best out of all the other varieties.
Next, I'm heading to the cellar door, where owner Wendy is going to show me some of Passel Estate's most well-known wines, including their latest addition, the Chenin Blanc. Wendy, could you tell me about the wines here at Passel Estate?
Yeah, I'd love to. We make only a small amount of wine, 4 varietals in small quantities, plus the Chenin Blanc sparkling. And what we're trying to do with the winemaking at Passel Estate is really bring people to the estate. So all of our wines are single vineyard from Passel Estate, and they're the most beautiful expression that we can possibly produce with our viticulturist and our winemaker, all from this little patch of paradise, which hopefully you'll be able to taste in the glass when we get to taste them. I thought it'd be nice to welcome you with this glass of bubbles. It's our very first sparkling wine. We've called it La Joie, a joy, because we think it's a lovely way to toast life's joyful moments. And it's a traditional method sparkling on a Chenin Blanc base. So it's our Clément, if you like. So welcome to Passel Estate.
Welcome, thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Oh, that is way too drinkable. It's delicious. Can you tell me about some of the notes in there?
Well, I can tell you what I taste. There's a little bit of, I guess, pear and nectarine on the fruit, maybe a little bit of apple coming from that Chenin Blanc. And then because it spent some time in the bottle before the second fermentation in bottle and a little bit of aging on the lees, you've got those sort of brioche notes as well. And really creamy mousse, very, very slightly creamy flavour profile, and yeah, beautiful glass of sparkling wine.
It's like a celebration in a glass.
Celebration in a glass,
I love
absolutely.
it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Next up, I'm meeting winemaker Bruce and the queen of the Margaret River, the Chardonnay. More Cellar Door after the break. I'm in Margaret River at Passel Estate, where winemaker Bruce is showing me one of the region's most famous wines, the Chardonnay. Well, I can't wait to taste this Chardonnay. What can you tell me about it?
Well, it's very, very local. In fact, what we're tasting here is our 2023 Chardonnay from these very vines right next to it. And so what we've got is a very sort of site-specific Chardonnay, and we just focus on really sort of small plots of vines, just on beautiful soil types. So please have a look.
Yes. Colour is gorgeous.
We love those just very sort of gentle lime hues with a little bit of lemon sort of on the outside, and we just feel if we can preserve that sort of beautiful freshness from the vines and those vibrancy of colours, it protects all sorts of delicate little perfumes and flavours in the wine.
I can't wait to have a taste. What can I expect from my first sip?
Joy. Put it in your mouth and try it out.
I've been waiting all day for that, and that did not disappoint.
Well, to me, one of the things I love about our Passel Chardonnay is it has the most beautiful sort of white elderflower and sort of floral fruit characters. We just try and make these wines as pure as humanly possible, because whenever the wines are less fiddled with by people like me, they always taste better.
Yeah, I can definitely taste the harmony in there. And I love the colour as well, it's gorgeous. Heading back to Wendy, I'm ready to try some of Passel's most famous reds.
So we make, besides the Chenin Blanc, 4 varietals. We have a Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, of course, the queen of Margaret River, Syrah, and Cabernet. And so I thought I'd show you today our two of our reds, our Reserve Syrah and our Estate Cabernet.
Lovely. And where would you start with these two?
We should start with the Syrah, because it's slightly lighter than the Cabernet.
Lovely.
Give it a nice swirl.
Yeah.
And this is 2021 Syrah, and it's one of my favourites to talk about actually, because there's so much work in the vineyard that goes into this wine. So as we're coming to this time of year, we're washing the fruit carefully. Tim, our viticulturist, is farming it very, very carefully, because when harvest comes, we'll select 2 rows of the most pristine looking fruit, and then we will hand-pick those perfect bunches. And we want the stems and the stalks and everything to be fully ripened, because that whole bunch is going to go into the fermenter. It then gets put into the larger format oak barrels, so it's a more gentle oak treatment, if you like, about 40% anew for this reserve, and it spends 13 months in the oak barrels and before bottling it. Like all of our wines at Passel Estate, it's very gentle, it's very aromatic, and it's, I think, very beautiful, very elegant.
It does.
So hopefully you'll like it too.
Yes, I can't wait to have a try. It's really delicious. I can definitely taste all of those stories that you were telling about it into the glass and into the wine. It's gorgeous.
It will continue to age in cellar. This wine is designed to be a more serious expression of our Syrah or our Shiraz, and it's just going to get better and better. But it's already so silky and smooth and delicious now. Cabernet Sauvignon being, I guess, the king in Margaret River. It's one of those varietals that put Margaret River on the world map. And ours is particularly special being a pure Cabernet Sauvignon because a lot of the time there's a little bit of blend, there's a little bit of a Merlot or a little bit of Malbec, and you don't have to disclose that on the label as long as it's less than 15%. So it's actually very rare to have a 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Ours is 100%, so it is pure Margaret River Cabernet.
I definitely can, I can smell that star anise, a bit of that mulberry. It smells so nice and rich.
Quite fruity, a little blackcurrant in there for me as well.
Yeah. Now we take a sip and then see how
Shall
it feels in the
we
mouth.
taste it? Yes.
Oh, yeah, that is very balanced and very velvety as well.
Velvety smooth, isn't it? So all the tannins are so beautifully integrated, and what you're tasting is what you can see and what you're
I
experiencing.
feel like it's a lot of your approach in the glass with the integration with the natural environment. Everything is in nice balance and it comes through, and obviously through the growing and then in the end product as well.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, that's what we're striving to achieve.
In the summary, it's delicious.
Thank you. Let's have another sip.
Okay. So how do you think that the conservation work you're doing here can really translate into the wine that you produce?
Well, I think the conservation, which came before the winemaking, really informs everything we do in the vineyard and in the winery. So we have the native bushland corridors, and we put a lot of work into ensuring they're preserved and beautiful, so that, of course, our wildlife and the possums that we rescue are rehabilitated. And we're very gentle with that land. We're therefore very gentle with the vineyard and the sustainable practices that we have around the mid-row grasses and the soil and the fertility. We have beehives, and it's all a really important part of the whole ecosystem, as I've said, and that gentle approach to the land and the land management, I think, results in a very gentle wine. All of our wines are gentle expressions of this property, made with very light touch and with Bruce's very careful, very brilliant care.
I know it's like you're taking care of the land and it's taking care of you from this gorgeous product that you've got at the end.
It certainly is.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I've just been given this cheese platter with all local produce, handmade, which I'm about to enjoy. But I'll see you soon for more Cellar Australia. Here at Passel Estate in Margaret River, I'm sitting down with winemaker Bruce to hear more about what makes their wines so special. Can you tell me a little bit about your winemaking philosophy here at Passel Estate?
Absolutely. I think even before there's the philosophy and thought of wine styles, we actually sort of go back one step further, and that is to really try and seek an understanding of what we're doing from even below the ground, so with the soil microbiology, the vines, and a very important part for us of our wines, I guess, is the sustainability element. And so, for example, with this beautiful Chardonnay, we'll pick it based on its natural composition in the vineyard so that we can carry this through to the final bottle of wine without fiddling with the composition of what's there. That, to me, is probably what I would call a fundamental success in agriculture, where you can have that crop translate it through to the final food, just with very, very gentle guidance and not pushing against what is there, but running with what is there.
Yeah, it sounds like you're working with rather than against nature.
Nature will always win.
Yeah.
Working with the biological strengths of the system, the soil, the nature, is very important. When we sort of have some of our sort of beautiful mature vines that are now sort of 30 years old, intersecting with these ancient sort of granite soils, and you can sort of see behind me, this wall is the granite that was in our vineyard in a new section that we've planted, and it's these decomposed granite that's formed the soils here. So completely ancient soils with quite sort of moderate water holding capacity, then intersecting with this maritime climate we have, which is sort of very gentle, very long growing season. We get this natural sort of balance that occurs in the vines, and having that balance or self-regulation that's sort of dictated by the site, by the climate, probably allows our grapes to express in such a lovely way.
So you've been here since the inception, 10 years now?
Absolutely, and that's great because it's lovely to have the opportunity to work with Wendy, Barry, Tim Quinlan, and one of the exciting things is that we share, of course, these common philosophies of the gentle approach, and not taking so much from our soils, from our vines. Each wine every year is different, and of course after a decade of focusing on exactly the same vines from exactly the same plot of soil, is every year is a learning curve. So we learn things, we refine them. These beautiful wines are time capsules, and so this beautiful Chardonnay will still be here in a decade, captured everything that was going on in the vineyard and with our approaches in 2023.
Thank you so much for sharing with me, and thank you for all your hard work that goes into this beautiful wine.
Cheers, Maddie. Hope you enjoy.
I will, thank you. I've had a beautiful day at Passel Estate. I've been really impressed by the wines, but also by the partnerships, not just between the humans, but between nature and the land. And it's these relationships that influence every bottle, giving it a quiet confidence of a place that knows exactly who it is. I'm Madeline, and this is the Cellar Australia.